Hi, my name is Chloe and I live in a 22-foot self-converted school bus with my dog Mochi. And the question that I get asked without fail every single time I show someone new the bus is, if you were going to do everything all over again, what would you do differently? In other words, regrets. And I never know how to answer this question right when the person asks me it, so I did some thinking on it and I do have quite a few answers now. And heartbreakingly, the number one thing that I regret is the paint color. I had spent so much time thinking about paint, looking at paint, and changing my mind about paint that I was just jaded and sick of it, as with many of the regrets I have. And I just asked a coworker who worked in the paint department what I should do, and I chose the first color she showed me, which ended up being a lichen-y, minty, light green shade, which has been prolific in my life ever since painting the bus that color. So it's not horrible. It's not my least favorite. It's a little dual tone. I've got like a dark teal on the bottom, but it's not what I had dreamed of. I had really imagined this sort of ode to old crappy RVs where it's brown and orange and beige. But alas, here we are. And I don't think I will ever repaint it because it was such a nightmare. The second thing that I am regretting particularly right now in my journey, because I'm thinking about replacing them, is not buying lithium-ion batteries from the start. I have gel matte batteries, and I just have to baby them so much because they're temperature sensitive, and thinking about the temperature of my batteries constantly is just a lot. It's a big stressor, and I wish I didn't have to do it. And the price difference, oh yeah, it stresses you out too, I know. It's a very hard life. You get comfy. We'll wait. Is that good? Yeah, good spot. What was I saying? Oh, the price difference between AGM and lithium-ion batteries is not enough for the benefits of lithium-ion. You can discharge them 100% and you'd never have to worry about them getting too hot or too cold. It's just incredible. So yeah, just kind of kicking myself over that one. The next thing is my upper cabinets. They are enormous because I had this mindset of like just make all of the storage spaces as big as possible, but it sort of backfired a little bit because the upper third of this cabinet is completely unused space. It's not really a necessary space, and I would have much rather had easier access to my window locks, which now butt up right against that cabinet, and I would have rather like been able to lean forward a little bit more without hitting my head. But so if I had made those a little bit shorter and sacrificed that storage space, which I don't use anyway, it would have just, you know, been a little bit better. My next regret is not making an outdoor table. I know, so Instagram worthy. And I don't have an outdoor table because I didn't think about it soon enough. And when you're doing things that are attached to the outside of your vehicle, you have to do them before the inside of your vehicle is sealed and complete. So I can't add an outdoor table now because I would have to drill through the wall, and in order to seal that and prevent leakage, I would have had to take my inside walls off, and the inside walls are staying right where they are for the rest of time. So a little tiny thing that, like, in the summer I just have a little portable table that I take outside and leave up. It's not the end of the world, but it would have been so much more aesthetic to have a nice wooden flop down table. The fact that it's not something I can change or add, I think, is what makes it a regret. You have so many mistakes in life that you either live with or you get over it or you fix it, but regrets, I feel you can't undo, and they nag at you a little bit. This is one of those. I wish I had a hard-mounted ladder. That's another thing that I would have had to do before the interior walls went on. And I just didn't, because I thought I didn't want anybody on my roof. But even if some strange person's getting up there, they have nothing, they cannot harm me in any way except to break my solar panels, which, you know, they have no benefit, no gain. So, purchasing my appliances before I needed them. I had my air conditioner sitting in my parents' living room for probably 6 months before I installed it, because it was the last thing to get installed, because the paint all had to be done before that happened. And it was just so silly. It was just so silly. So like my refrigerator and my toilet and my air conditioner were all just sitting around, warranties flying out the window, return timelines flying out the window, and I just wasn't using them because I wasn't ready to install them yet. I thought that in order to build this bus, I had to have everything at the ready. I had to have it all before I could start, before I could go. And that was ridiculous. So don't buy your appliance before you're ready to start that project, before you're ready to, set sail on that voyage. Or I wish I had looked into a little bit more customer reviews and first-hand experience reviews, because I made a big error with my fridge specifically. And I hate it. I hate it so much. Probably, I'm not going in order of biggest thorn in my side. This is probably, maybe even worse than the paint color is this refrigerator. So I just wish I had taken more time in buying the things that I needed to buy, and did even more research, because I did so much research that my eyeballs were falling out, and I just needed to do more. The stupidest regret that I have is that the spacing between my solar panels is, I shit you not, less than an inch smaller than a human foot. It's narrower than a human foot. So you cannot walk between the solar panels. There's a gap. There's a lovely gap. But it's just too small. I swear, if it was like completely narrow, if it was completely sealed and there was no way of you getting across there, then yeah, fine, whatever. The fact that there is a gap and I didn't make it a hair bigger so you could walk through it is just the dumbest thing I think I've ever done. So now, if you want to get from the front of the roof to the back of the roof, you have to climb down the ladder, move the ladder, and then climb back up the ladder, or do a terrifying parkour move and jump over the solar panels, which can be done and has been done, but I hate it. So if I were to do it all over again, which I've considered, and then immediately retracted, that's what I would do. I would put some stuff on the outside. I would paint it a different color. I would space my solar panels differently. Make my cabinets smaller. I would get lithium-ion batteries. And I'd probably make it so that you can fit a dog kennel under the bed. Do you have anything to add?